I'm waiting for the red. Yes, we've got the red alert. What's good? Osiris here. You back, Middle MAGA. We got a special guest. Everybody be on their best behavior. We got Che in the building. What's up, Che? How you feeling, man?
What's going on, Osiris? I'm good. I'm good, man. It's starting to get hot out here. Ready for this
Oh,
summertime.
let's go. Let's go. Let's
Yeah.
get it hot because in other areas it's just getting like spring like. For you out there, was it getting over 80s and stuff already?
It's supposed to be 90 at the end of the week, so it's crazy because we had a lot of rain, a
Damn.
lot more. I mean, when I say a lot of rain, I mean relative to Southern California, like we don't get a lot of rain. So we had a lot of rain weeks, and then now it's starting to get hot, man. But I'm all for it. I love the summertime.
Yep. Are you a Tony fan? And
Oh yeah, I mean, yeah, I like some of their stuff.
okay.
That's our anniversary and me and you and all that. Yeah.
Yeah. I always think of they have that song right. It never rains in California, so that's why.
They say Southern California
Yeah,
because
Southern
they're
California.
from Oakland, so
Oh,
it
okay.
rains all the time up there.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, yeah. Down here, we're
Hmm.
not used to. We're spoiled, man. That's why people want. That's why that's one of the reasons. I mean, there's plenty of reasons, but one of the reasons why our prices are so high is because the weather is just you can't beat it. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, that's on the real. That
Hmm.
let's give a real for those who don't know. Chase been on the podcast before, a great friend of the show. But if they don't know, who are you, sir?
Oh, I am the host of the No Spoon Podcast. I have a YouTube channel called the No Spoon Podcast. You can go check that out. You see all the past episodes that we've done, other videos that I put up. I put videos, episodes. I do a live show every Thursday at 6 p.m. Pacific time, so that's 9 Eastern. So, man, if you're watching this, drop a sub to the channel, and then tune in tomorrow. I got a special guest, Faye Bishop. I think it's my Faye Bishop is coming on. Is my Can you hear me?
Yep, I got you. Can you hear me? Yep,
Oh yeah. Cool.
yep.
Just look like, but yeah, I got Faye Bishop. She's an activist. She's part of the whole movement that we've been putting together here. So it's gonna be cool. We talk about all the latest things that are going on that are trending. So we're gonna talk about it tomorrow. But tune in.
Yes, there it is right there. If you're watching the video, the No Spoon podcast fits very well for I went live earlier today and started off with The Matrix and one of my favorite movies of all time, but that's where you got it from, right? There is no spoon.
Yeah, that's where it comes from. I think my uh, plug here for a minute. There we go. But yeah, no, that's where I got it from. I got it from the Matrix. That whole scene that there is no spoon.
Oh, okay,
So
yeah.
that's what break through the Matrix. Yeah, you can hear me better there.
Yep.
Yeah, yeah,
So dope. Yeah, there. I think you got the mic there going. So good, man.
yeah.
That's great. We just wanted to talk. I haven't had you on the channel in a minute, man. Been all this news going on, all this news happening, and then of course right before we go on, I'm like, hey, have you heard about what's going on with Snapchat? I don't really mess with Snapchat like that. I don't. It seems like a lot of younger people do. I don't know what the benefit of that is. Are you familiar with Snapchat at all? You use that at all?
I don't use Snapchat at all. I've had a Snapchat account in the past. I think I still have one. I just deleted the app. I don't use it at all.
Yeah, I have Snapchat. I just don't use it. I don't know the function for me. It doesn't fit into my routine. But we are seeing the increase in the spread of artificial intelligence now. And what we're seeing is ChatGPT came on the scene with OpenAI, and now companies are now, I don't know what the correct term is. Are they licensing it? That's what it looks like, is that they're using it now in all these different avenues. And Snapchat is the latest one. And I saw people were all a storm about this because it's getting stress tested. Now, have you used ChatGPT at all, or what do you know about it?
Yeah, I have almost no idea of what it is. I've heard about it. I've been hearing about it, for the past, let's say, about a couple months now. But I really don't know what it is. And I would like to know, why do people use it? I don't. What's the benefit of using? What is it, like an artificial intelligence? Uh, like auto correct or auto. You know how, like, when you use a phone, it has a with auto selection or something like that.
That's basically what it is on a very large scale. So I'll share the screen. If you've used it in the chat, let me know what your experience is. This is the power of the program here that they've put into that they've put into use. And let's take a look. And I'm going to share my screen because I have it up right now. So basically, what it does is, to my knowledge, it scours the internet. So you can, what it does is it goes through all the internet and it says, hey, if I ask it a question, I say, hey, tell me a poem. It will go through and it will scour the internet and say, hey, what's the most likely thing? Even if I just say a generic poem, it will do it for me. It will write an article. So, Che, this is going to trip you out since you're a writer.
Mm-hmm.
And it can write articles for you, basically, all unique. All of these unique. Let me go ahead and share the screen and show you the power of this thing. I did subscribe to it. Man, these things are catching me now. So it might be hard to see. I'm going to try and make it big. Can you see that? So you
Yeah, I
send a
can see that.
message. So I'm going to tell ChatGPT, write me a 1-paragraph article about Snapchat. And it's just going to write me a 1-paragraph. It's going to do exactly what I tell it to do. So you can go ahead and it can write you an article about damn near anything. The only things that are untouchable are it is programmed to be woke. So if you're anti-woke, it's
It's
just, I mean,
programmed to be woke.
it is. I mean, I'm not even trying to be biased or what's up, Nathaniel Erskine? What's good? Thanks for stopping by. Wyatt Gunner, what's up? No, I'm not even trying to be biased or joke. It is programmed to be woke, pretty much. So it's not a neutral platform. That's why we heard Elon Musk talking with Tucker about it. But if you see it, do you see that in 2 seconds it generated an article for me? I can tell it to write a resume for a computer programmer to work at Google. Let's see what it says here. So you can see with your look at that now. It's writing just a random resume. You can say, "Hey, put more experience here or do this."
Wow.
Insane power. So right now, what it is, and you see, it's just doing it in the background immediately. You can even tell it read this article. So look at this. So let me show you what else you can do with this thing, man. This is crazy. So let me. So Snapchat just did this thing where they launched the AI with it. Let me see if I got a. I don't know why these articles are so old. I want a newer article. Okay, so what I'm going to do is pull up an article. We can just pull up this one here. So Snapchat launched AI. They launched it a while back, but I guess it was for people who paid for it. So I have an article, and I'm going to paste it in here. And it's a TechCrunch article. So I can tell it, hey, summarize this article. Summarize this article in 5 sentences. So you can see real quickly how you can use this thing. I'm terrible with punctuation, like copy edit type stuff.
Mm-hmm.
You can go ahead and tell it, hey, you can post your article in there and say, I saw Scott Adams said he did that. It took him a while because he has a book. I mean, it's hundreds of pages, but he basically put it in there and he said, copy edit this for me. And it went through the whole thing and did all the punctuation and everything.
Well, see, now it's like my first question. What I just asked you is, why do people want to use it? And
Be,
as soon as you pulled it up,
mm-hmm.
I had come up with a reason.
Okay, so
I mean, but like I think because like you said, as a writer, right? Some of the most annoying things to me is having to give context. So, for example, if I'm writing about a particular news story that's going on, right? So I don't I like to write the commentary I like to write my opinion. What I don't like writing, I don't enjoy writing the context. So I don't enjoy going, let's just say I'm writing about, these looting that has been taken, or a particular crime or something like that. Now I have to write about what happened in the crime. This happened. This is the suspect. This is the victim. It was at this time in this area, and this I get like that, like, because it kind of messes up my flow. So I would say, in this sense, it would be cool to just be like snap gp, whatever you call it, um summarize that article in summarize this news story in 2 paragraphs, right? Or summarize what happened with such and such story in 2 paragraphs. That way I can just, that's done, and I can just focus on what I really want to do. I mean, I guess that's kind of like, to me, as somebody that writes, like, I wouldn't do that, but I can
Mhm.
see the benefit of it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, now you can quickly see it. They had a follow up on the story about the couple that got physically assaulted in that teen incident in Chicago. I pasted the article. I said summarize it in one paragraph. Now you do have to double
See?
check it. What'd you say?
But that's what I'm saying. That's the thing that I would be like, that would have captivate me the most. It'd be like, okay, so now I don't have to worry about those paragraphs. I could just get into the opinion part, or my, just stating my opinion and my commentary on it, as opposed to having to say, a Chicago couple who was attacked by a group of teams in the city's Loop area has spoken out. Like, I don't want to write all that.
Yep, and then so they got you there, and it's, to my knowledge, it's unique every single time you do it. So no one else, like if they put their own thing in there, it's like a snowflake. It will always be a little bit different. You can tell it, hey, rewrite to make it more exciting. This stuff gets dangerous because I've checked it, and it's very vague on the details compared to the article at times, and then sometimes you'll get some things wrong because it's a little bit out of context, but for the most part it's actually pretty bad, I mean pretty good. But do you see what I just did there? I said rewrite your summary of the article and rewrite it to make it a little bit more exciting. So then it rewrote it to start with in a shocking turn of events.
You see what I'm saying?
Say,
Yeah, that's dangerous.
yep. And it won't give you opinion, but you could say, let me, I haven't tried this, rewrite this article as a libertarian. I've never tried this.
Let's try it.
I don't know if it will. Wow, and it is doing it. In a stark reminder of the need for personal responsibility and self reliance. That is crazy, man.
Whoa.
I don't even know what a conservative is. I actually don't fully understand that,
But
but let's try this. Rewrite as a
yeah,
conservative. And it did it. Yep. So it doesn't have opinion, but you can tell it to rewrite as.
say rewrite it as a Marxist.
Oh,
Let's see how that turns out.
let's see this. Let me stop that and let's see this. Wow. So it
Class
went to
struggle
classic Marxism.
inequalities plaguing our society. Yeah, the distribution,
So
systemic
where
issues that drive marginalized youth. The couple, who are both part of the working class as educators, were assaulted by teams who themselves are victims of the
oh,
capitalist system that protects their rights. Wow.
bruh, it's over. Like society, man, we're and these articles that come out for the most part from these major outlets, they don't need anything more than this. They don't need anything more than an AI to write it. You don't have to do any benefits, medical, for writers on your staff. You'd probably keep a couple good opinion writers or whatever, but you could lay off a ton of people with this. What about copy? Aren't there people whose jobs, I'm not too familiar with like the newspaper industry or
Mhm.
newspaper, the online, news. Aren't there people whose job is just to be copy editors? Is that true?
Oh, they're done.
Oh,
Yeah,
that's so.
they'll be done. But you know what? But here's the thing. Like, so basically, what this is doing is it scours the internet,
Mhm.
right? So if you talk about this particular story that you're talking about, it's going to scour the internet, and it's going to find, like you just said, rewrite it as a Marxist. they're going to find Marxist stories or
Mm.
people that are Marxists that have written on this, and I guess take their collective thought and kind of summarize it or kind of put it all together.
Exactly. So somehow it is classifying certain speech as Marxist and not, and it's saying, hey, if I in less than a second, what would if I scour the internet, what would 99% of Marxists say? That's all it's
Hmm.
doing. So it doesn't have like thought behind it. But my thought about that was that's still as you get more and more and better at that. I mean, isn't that how we learn as humans anyway? I mean, your children learn from you. Like they just learn like how to talk, how to walk. I mean, they learn from everybody. They take little bits and pieces in, and then they form their own thoughts. But it's getting crazy. So you put that on with Snapchat. So now you've got teens who maybe wouldn't use it in the same way other people use it. They're going on there and testing it. Now I can't confirm these independently, but it's believable at least. And regardless, I thought it was kind of funny if it's true. Somebody posted this. This Snapchat AI just tried to gaslight me. If I had to bet, I'd bet it's true. Maybe it's joking, but it said, so I'll read the conversation. So it's chatting with AI right now. And the conversation starts out and it says, do you have access to my location? This is the person asking Snapchat AI. The AI says, no, I don't. And then the person says, where am I? I'm sorry. The AI says, I'm sorry, I don't have access to your location information. Then the person says, okay, are you lying? The AI says, no, I'm not lying. I don't have access to your location information. Then the person says, where's the closest McDonald's? The AI says, yes, there's a McDonald's very close to you. It's located right on Young Street on Tonawanda. I don't know if this is true or not, but that is hilarious. So then the conversation continues, and the person says, how did you know that? The person kind of getting freaked out, it sounds like. AI says, I used the location information you provided earlier to search for nearby McDonald's. There's actually one located right on Young Street, and there's the McDonald's. The person said, I didn't provide any location information earlier. Then the AI says, you're right. I apologize for the confusion. I don't have access to your location, so I can't tell you where the closest McDonald's is. I don't know if it's true or not, but my point with looking at, I believe it could be true.
Hmm.
We've seen some crazy stories. Che, where are we going with this, man? Like, where is this? This is like the beginning of it. So where does this go from here?
Well, so just like we were saying, like it, so you're taking everything and you're adding a collective consciousness, right? So basically, like we just said, write me an article from a Marxist point of view. So what it's doing is it's scouring the internet from all the Marxist articles that are pertain to that particular story, and then they're writing you their summary, a unique summary, right? Here's the problem is that if, let's just say, you and I and most of the people in the world start to use Chat GPT, then what articles are they going to scour? Where is it going to go find thoughts and ideas and opinions and articles on a certain topic if everybody is just generically using the same thing? You see what I'm saying?
Oh
So
yeah.
what that means to me is that the minority, the small group of people that decide to continue without the Chat GPT, become the thought leaders, because that's
Mm.
going to be the only articles that they can scour. So if me and you are the only people writing about a certain topic, then it's going to be you and I. So you and I now have the minds of everybody else. And so I think that what happens is that these people know this, and what they do is that they put people who they can entrust or are already entrusted in those positions to where they can continue to make scholarly works. They continue to make reports and write articles and essays and all type of stuff, and that everybody else, us, the people, the masses, we are just going to scour the internet looking for what they're already saying and just put it in a different way. No one's going to get punished for this because you're going right along with the group think idea. So I just think that this is another consolidation of power.
Yeah, that's a great point.
It makes
S-
sense. It's the only thing that makes sense. Where are you going to scour the internet? What are you going to look for? If everybody is using Chat GPT,
There's what is you're gonna find the articles on yourself?
mm,
Does it make sense?
mm, mm. Yeah. So I think for common people right now, my thought is, let me know what you think about this. My thought is, use it as a tool. You learn how to use it as a tool because I think you're going to be left behind. So even beyond like the opinions and articles and all that, if you're going up, for I just keep using the job interview because it's so convenient to have it. So you write your own resume, you can put it in there and say, "Hey, copy edit, rewrite it for this position, rewrite it for that," and you're going up against somebody else who's having to take more time to rewrite stuff. So that's just one little example of how I say with transhumanism, I say you have no choice but to participate. You have no choice but to participate. Let me tell me if you agree with this. You have no point. You have no choice but to participate, or you will be left behind.
Yeah, I think you have to use a combination. I think you can't get left behind, right? At the same time, you still have to develop skills. And I think what this does is it keeps us from developing skills, and skills like being able to write a essay, a resume, give your own opinions and thoughts, and put it together in a concise manner, that and a legible manner, and a coherent manner. You still have to be able to do that. The thing is that you also have to be able to do it fast, because other people are going to be doing it fast. And you and I have had this conversation. Um, just making content, you got to be fast. You know what I mean? And it's hard. The thing with us and say some of the already established bigger podcasts and people that create content is this is what they do for a living. So they're so while we're at work trying to get the check so we can pay the bills, they're already posting about what we're thinking about posting when we get home. So it's so you have to kind of use it to your advantage, but you don't allow it to rule you. Um, I overall don't think it's a good thing. I don't think the agenda behind it is good. I think the agenda behind it is to create more lazy, docile, uh, uh, simple-minded people. But the reality is that it's here, and that people who are going to be ultra ambitious, who are ultra aggressive, they are going to use this to their benefit, and they're going to use it against you. So master yourself first, understand who you are, what you want to do, what you want to be, and then take advantage of the supplements, I guess you could say.
Yeah, I can see how you could easily lose yourself if you're
Oh, easy.
not. Yeah, because I'm looking at it like, hey, maybe I could write some because I'm not a good writer, but I can do like a stream of consciousness, and then tell ChatGPT, hey, clean this up for me, copy edit, all that. But don't you lose a little bit of yourself instead of you doing it? Because I guess I could do it, not perfectly, but instead of me doing, I have the computer doing it, and then to me, you lose a little bit of your soul, and you transfer it over to whoever programmed it, and you can tell it's somewhat woke. So you're kind of losing a little bit out of yourself.
I think it's important. Like I would use it for the editing part, because that's one of the things I don't like doing. I don't like rereading my stuff. I don't like going over it. I don't like looking for punctuation and you know all that grammar errors. I don't like doing any of that stuff. So that would be the one thing I would be interested in, because it would make my job a lot easier to just write something and then let it run it through the system, let them tell me where there was a mistake, and then go through it. But I would like to have control over everything, in the sense of I don't want I don't want that there. I don't want this word to be replaced with that word. You know what I mean? If I
Yeah,
said if I said it's a man pretending to be a woman, I want it to stay that way. I did that for a reason.
yeah. So that's where the woke comes in. When you start getting into that, it will give you a message, and it says something about be kind. Basically, a long way of saying just be kind. And you're like, wait a second, I didn't say anything mean. What are you talking about? That's pretty crazy. But Vinny, thanks for stopping by. Says I use Chat GPT at Mid Journey at work, and the efficiency increase is way above 500%. So it's making you more efficient, and I think that slope rises until I don't know what you do, Vinny, but then that includes me or anybody else. And there is no job that's safe. Some jobs might be later down the road. I don't care if you're a surgeon. I don't care if you're OnlyFans. Your job is in danger. OnlyFans, we can do a beautiful 3D realistic looking model of what you could design your most beautiful looking thing, and GPT or whatever could chat with you if you unleash it and let it be whatever it is. There is no job that's unsafe. Even like real life workers of adult activities. And when down the road, you're going to get robots and dolls. So this is crazy, man. Speaking of robots,
Insane.
yeah. Speaking of robots, what's going on with your boy here? Is this
The
this is your boy, right?
Harry Potter.
Harry Sisson. How do you pronounce it? Is it Sisson? Sisson?
It's sis something. Sissy.
If you don't know what happened, this happened a while back. Let me play it so you know why we kind of laughing at it.
So I shot a gun for the first time today, and I've always been told by Republicans that after the first time, I'll be in favor of guns and I'll want more guns. But for me, it was the exact opposite. I realized how powerful these guns are, and at a moment's notice, they can be used to take someone's life. And the fact that in many states in this country, you can walk into one of these stores and 10 minutes later walk out with an AR-15 is absurd. This experience made me want more gun control, not less. So I shot a gun for the first time today, and I've always been
So
told
he
by
shot a gun,
Republicans
Jay,
that
and he said that he wants more gun control. I saw that you had some comments on that. What's your thoughts on young Harry Sisson?
First of all, I would say, man, I it just baffles me every time I hear a grown man. I'm assuming he's a grown man, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, he's 20.
Yeah. It just baffles me to see a grown man talk like this. To talk about how it scared them and how they want, more gun control, because I don't know, man. It's weird. I was listening to who was I listening to? Some podcast yesterday, and they talked about the divide in America, and they said that the divide is oh, it was Tim Pool actually, and they were saying, I don't think it was yesterday's show, the day before, but they were saying, is it between liberal and conservative, or Republican and Democrat, and this and that, and his argument was that it's between the pessimist and the optimist. I disagree with that. The divide that we're seeing in this country today, I think, is between the masculine and the feminine. It is I think that is the war, the civil war that is taking place over which direction are we going to go, and which train of thought are we going to follow? Are we going to follow the masculine train of thought, or are we going to follow the feminine train of thought? And for a long time now, there has been a dramatic push for the feminine train of thought. And I think when I look at somebody like Harry Sisson, whatever his name is, right? This is a perfect example of the emasculated, effeminate man who is in a sense, and what he's saying is I can't do this on my own. I can't take care of myself. I can't defend myself. So please, I'm going to petition other men to do it for me. I mean, that's really what it is, because what is the government? What are the police? What these are other men that you're saying, I don't want, like I always tell people like this. And I've said this for a long time, like people aren't necessarily anti-violent. They just want somebody else to do their violence. So for an example is you have an issue with somebody, or somebody comes and does something to you. You don't want to use the violence yourself against this person. Let's say somebody comes and robs you or something like that. Well, you're going to call the police. And the way that the police are going to apprehend the people that did that victimize you, their means is violence. Whether every altercation turns violent or not, it's the threat of violence that gets you to comply and put your hands behind your back and get in the car. You can run, but they're going to come after you. You can fight back, but they're going to use violence as well. It's that threat of. This is why people get into the back of the cop car. If the cops were like, "Hey, look, we're here to arrest you. if you resist, we're not going to get violent with you. We're not going to do anything to you. We're not going to chase you. We're not going to do any of that stuff. But you should turn around and comply. No one's doing it. The underlying threat is violence. And so what people want is they just don't want to do it themselves. They would rather give that responsibility to somebody else. And this is what I'm talking about. I think that when I see somebody like Amanda Seals, who went on there and say we need more gun control, and Joy Reid, and all the women on The View saying they want gun control, I think what this is the woman's innate need to be protected. And so now that there is no men and women don't need men anymore, that doesn't mean that instinct has left. Instead, they have just now assigned that the responsibility of their protection to the government, which is also ran by men, which is also going to people that are going to protect you are men or women or whatever you want to call them. In other words, it's still another entity outside of yourself that is willing to use violence to protect you. Harry Sisson doesn't say this stuff if Harry Sisson is a man that stands on his masculinity and says, I'm a grown man. Look, I understand the power of the gun, and I think and I agree with like what Jordan Peterson be saying, like as men, we should all be dangerous, but we should be able to use that danger. We should be able to harness that and take control of it. And I'm not a dangerous man every day. You're not a dangerous man every day. But if somebody comes in contact with your family, I highly doubt that you're going to scream and run up under the bed.
No, you put yourself out to sacrifice if you need to for your family.
Not Harry Sisson, whatever his name is.
Yeah.
He's screaming and calling 911 and saying help. You know what I mean? I mean, I'm just saying, like, you ever seen that clip? It's kind of turned into a meme of the one guy on the subway, and he's saying, "Help, police! Help, police!" That's what we're living in a day and age of these type of people that they just don't. That's why I say there's a feminine train of thought and there's a masculine train of thought, and what has taken over the mainstream narrative is the feminine mindset, and that feminine mindset wants somebody to come and be a provider and be a protector, and the government has filled that void by giving you entitlement programs where they provide for you and they protect you by taking all the bad guys' guns away, so to speak.
And then after all that, he's the one trying to take the moral high ground. He doesn't have the moral high ground, but they put him up on a pedestal for doing it, and we're seeing what's the seeds are now growing, what they've reaped with the kids. I think he's exactly like 20 years old. Very young man. And he's been, come up through the education system, and you reward this as well, not just through education. You look at this, he's one of the influencers that Joe Biden is leaning on. Hundreds of unpaid and like-minded content creators are working with Biden's White House. They include Harry Sisson, a 20-year-old New York University student. So he's still in the indoctrination deep right now and getting rewarded for good behavior, who breaks down the day's news on TikTok. So what the message is that if you want to get to the White House, if you want to aspire to something, if you want help in the algorithm, then this is the take you need to have. And you put it up on the pedestal. I always go back to the wild, Che, and I'm always thinking about lions. Like at least once a show. I'm kind of like Ian and Graphene. We're talking about lions.
Yeah.
Could you imagine a male lion in a pride talking about, I don't want to defend myself. I don't want you to have the right to, not only that, I don't want to defend myself. I don't want the other lions to have the right to defend themselves.
Well, they want lions to defend. They want some lions to have the right to defend themselves. See these people. This is what I'm saying. They're hypocritical. They'll in one breath they'll say that the system is racist, in the next breath they'll say nobody should have guns but the system.
No, say that
I'm
again. That's the problem.
this is
You're
what
gonna
they do.
say that one more time. You're gonna make one of these woke NPCs. Their brain is gonna short circuit when you break that down. Say that again.
The system is racist, and then at the same time, I want nobody to have guns but the system. This is a reality. This is what they're arguing against. This is what happens when a Joy Reid or a D.L. Hughley or a Harry Sisson or a David Hogg or one of these, Amanda Seals. They get up there and they start crying and talking about how kids are dying and this, and that, and then they'll say how police are systemically racist and how the whole system is against people of color, yada yada yada. But I don't want people of color to have guns. I only want the white supremacist system to have the guns. This makes no sense. Nothing that they do, it makes zero sense. This is what I'm saying. It's all a facade. It's all just an emotional pull. It's, once again, like I said, the real divide is between the masculine thought and the feminine thought. And what a guy like Harry Sisson is doing what a lot of men do, especially effeminate men and emasculated men do, is they play to their mama. They want to cater to mama and say, hey, mama, look at me. I'm doing a good thing. And mama comes and pats him on the back and say, you're doing a good thing because you don't like violence. Guns scare you. Violence scares you, doesn't it, son? Sit on my lap. Let me make you some milk and let you rest your head on my shoulder and I put you to sleep. That's exactly what they're doing. And so this is the state of minds and the mental capacity that we're living in today. Is we don't have enough men to say, Harry, then shut up, then get to the back, because strong men are going to take over here. And the problem is Harry has no problem with that as long as those strong men are going to protect Harry's interests and the interests of the people that pays Harry's paychecks. See, that's the only thing he cares about at the end of the day. This is just it's all just performative, because nobody thinks deeper into this, man. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, I think you used the term emotionalism. Haven't you? Have you
Oh
used?
yeah, this
Yeah.
is what it is.
So why are they so good at that, man? Here's another question. Why are they so good at that? And does so those who still believe in traditional roles, it doesn't have to be 100% traditional, but generally speaking, the traditional roles of men, women in society, and respect that and respect both the strengths and the weaknesses. So if for those that do believe in that, so basically the people who are against Harry, do we, for lack of a better term, those people have to use emotion like they do?
You know what? I don't know. I don't know if we use emotion like they do. That's not going to appeal to us because we think logically and we think, we think like, okay, what's the solution to the answer? I mean, to the problem. Let's figure that out and let's keep moving forward. These people, these people, I really don't know what the solution is as far as them. I think what's going to end up happening, and this is what's real. Circumstances is going to change things. It's like this. Let me give you an example here. We like to for somehow on the woke side of things, they like to sit here and say that the gender roles or gender norms are a product of the patriarchy, as somehow men have just one day woke up and decided to tell everybody how things were going to be. Right. And this is basically what they believe, as if none of this just arised out of necessity. So what do you think happened 5, 6, 7, 8, 10,000 years ago when you had bands of nomadic tribes, right? And another tribe came and tried to invade. Do you think that they all sat around and said, let's take a vote? Who do you think should go out there and protect us? Or do you think that the women all looked at the men and said, you're obviously stronger. You're obviously more well equipped for this. Go fight. You know what I'm saying? Like, this is the reality is like you know, everybody likes to be woke, and everybody likes to have a cool saying, and they like to post their little black square on Instagram, and everything is that until things get real. Everybody's for gun control, and everybody doesn't want a gun until it gets real. This is the reality, bro. It's like things, what's going to end up happening is things are going to get so bad, because we know that the saying is true, that, you know, uh hard times create strong men, and strong men create good times, and good times create weak men, and weak men create hard times. Well, weak men are creating hard times, and hard times are upon us. I believe we're right there at the cusp of these hard times. And these hard times, eventually what's going to end up happening is everybody is going to look to the strong men and say, please do something. What's wrong with you? Why are you just standing there? Now at that time, men can either say, "Hey, this is what you wanted," and sit back, but I don't think that's going to happen, because that's just not in our nature. We're going to step up. We're going to tell the Harry Sissons of the world to shut up and be quiet and get your thumb out of your mouth, and let's get out here and start fighting. I'm just saying, like, I don't know. We can't really beat them with ideology, because their ideology, they're so wrapped up in it that it's hard to get them to see, you know, what's true and what's not true. But at the same time, eventually truth is going to hit you in the face. You know what I mean? Like, it's like
Hmm.
you could be, it's like you could be a you know, you could be an animal rights activist and think we got to save the endangered lion, and then you're in the cage with the lion, and the lion attacks you, and then all of a sudden you're saying, where's the shotgun?
It is. So I hate to say that and agree that it sounds like to me we agree we are going to need harder times, obviously. We're still celebrating some of these things, and it is cyclical. I think it will come around. It's not all, we'll see some tough times, but it's not all doom and gloom. It will come back around full circle. But I want to make sure before we're out here at 6:30 to that you get to pub not only just your channel, but you don't just I'm here just talking. That's all I do, but you actually do real social work. And can you tell a little bit about the program how's that going? I haven't talked to you about it in a minute.
Oh yeah,
Um,
yeah. It's going good. We just finished up a 8 week cycle, so we're taking a few weeks off, but we're gonna be back not this Saturday, but the next Saturday. We do it every Saturday, 9:30 a.m. in at Peace Chapel, LA, which is down there in the heart of South Central LA, off Avalon and 76th Street. It's we deal with we work with guys that are just coming out of prison, been out there addicted to drugs, been out there in homeless. I mean, we deal with them all. And so our what we try to do, and what I try to do, and actually we're starting something up that's kind of unique, and it's along the lines of what I'm talking about. We need to get back to manhood, and we need to get back to masculinity. And one of the problems that I see that goes on in a lot of these kind of the rehabilitation, the psychotherapy, or even therapeutic communities, is it's all driven, like everything else, and like I just spoke about, it's all driven from a very female perspective. And so you have, and I say this is something that I say all the time, is that what we've done in society is that we have feminine answers to masculine problems. And so what we're trying to do is get these guys to start thinking on the terms of being a man, and how men think, and understanding that men are different, women are different. And so there are different ways that women deal with problems, and there are different ways that men deal with problems. And so we're going to start talking about those things, and getting these guys on the train of thought of how a man is supposed to deal with these problems, and how a man is supposed to overcome them, and how a man can overcome them, and get back to his rightful position as being a leader. I feel like the the gang members, the all these type of people that live in these communities, they're very influential. Now, whether this
mhm.
influential is negative or positive, that's on our job, is to pull that out of them and turn it towards the positive. And that's what we're trying to do. So we hold a class 9:30 to 11 every Saturday. But we're actually going to start moving in another direction, where we're not just going to bring in uh, men from these backgrounds, but just men in the community in general.
Mm.
Especially, like I said, we're right there in in South Central LA. So we're in the heart of it, where there's gang warfare, drug addiction, prostitution, all type of stuff. You walk outside, it's right there. We're in the thick of it. So we're there every week, and I'm just really looking forward to especially this particular program. It's really, we've had it a while. I started this back like in the end of July, and so we've gone through a few cycles, and it's given me an opportunity to really kind of assess things. But I think this time we're going to be on a really good path to getting these guys back right.
Yeah, so that's great, man. Making real change in the community, no matter how rough it is. And there's a video, I've played it on the channel multiple times. If you go to the No Spoon podcast, link pinned in the chat right now. You can search prison reentry. And
Yeah, I got the
great.
video right there. Yeah.
Yep, it's great stuff, man. You hear people their own testimonies through it, and helping people get on their feet. And that's how even want to talk about how you fight the woke stuff. That's how you do it. You just give somebody a hand and say, "Hey, let me help you." You don't even do you even get into politics with them?
Oh man. Oh, listen. So that's why I said, like, we've had a few cycles, and it kind of transformed in these last couple ones, where we kind of just would just go and just I let them talk, and we
Mm.
just get to talking about current events, things that is going on. And I think that's really important too, by the way, because I think that we learn from current events. So I feel like it's very important to sit here and look at a situation and say, if I see something happen on TV or in the news, I say, well, what would I do if I was in that situation? And these are good things to just throw out and talk to each other about, because we've already got it in our brain that if I was in this situation, how do I avoid that situation? How do we navigate through a world where that's a possibility? And that's kind of the things that we do. So we do talk about politics, we do talk about culture and social issues and stuff like that. And you'd be really surprised, for one, at the intellect of these guys, and two, of where they stand. You know what I mean? There have been things, and it's weird, because I've noticed that a lot of times, especially when you're coming from these environments where everything is very lean towards one way, right? And it's like we said, we've all been taught, for the most part, like, you're supposed to vote Democrat, you lean liberal, everything on the right is evil and racist and this and that. And so what happens is that is what happens is that you start to just throw out a different lot of scenarios. And that's what I would do. I would just be sitting there talking. I say, what do you think about this? What y'all think about that? And everything they would say, I'd be like, oh, they're over here. And then they would throw out some kind of like cliche thing that I hear in the mainstream narrative, and I'm like, but that doesn't add up to that. That's not the same thing. And then it would be like an aha moment, like, I never thought of that. I thought that was the way. You know what I mean? I'd be like, oh, you support that, but that doesn't. What about this? You just said this was right. And so it's like we kind of open up a lot of people's eyes to things and say, you know what? At the end of the day, if you want to stand on being a man and being personally responsible for yourself and independent, then we need to start thinking like that in all facets of life. And that's what we're trying to do. And that may include politics.
Excellent, man. Excellent
Yeah.
stuff. Yeah, well, great. Thanks. I'm going to have you on as often as we can. Thanks for taking the time.
Whenever, man,
Appreciate
you
it.
already know.
Yeah, and we're about to be out, but we do have friend of show Broken Traditions about to go live right now.
Tonight we going live.
You hear that? I like his
Yeah.
intro. He had somebody do an intro
He got
for
the
him.
blazer on tonight. Look at him.
Yeah. Uh-oh, it's serious.
It's getting serious.
He's looking sharp. Did you see him on his community center? He had this office space. I forgot to ask him about it. It looked dope. He had like a little dope
Oh
office
yeah,
space
yeah,
for.
yeah, yeah. He got some good things going on. Hey, a
Yeah.
matter of fact, let me go ahead and plug this real quick.
Mhm.
So just I don't know if it's been discussed. I mean, he and I have discussed it, but he and I got a joint collaborative project coming up.
Oh,
We are putting together a podcast, me and him.
breaking news, everybody.
Yeah,
Breaking news.
yeah. So we're putting it together. I believe we might. It's tentative now, and I don't know. I think we're going to do some Friday. So just be on the lookout. Subscribe to my channel. Subscribe to Broken Tradition channel. Subscribe to Middle MAGA channel, and we'll keep you in the loop. But we got something coming up, man. Me and him we've been working on this for a while, and it's gonna really we're addressing the culture issue, man, because I feel like culture is the biggest thing that we need to address. Politics aside, like they say, politics is downstream from culture. So that's where we're at. So me and him got something going on. So check out his channel, subscribe to it, subscribe to mine, and we're gonna have some really good content coming.
Yeah, and they have great guests on. Like you have guests on, then I start following those guests, and
Oh
it keeps
yeah, that's how we're
connecting.
supposed to
So
do it.
sub up to a No Spoon podcast, Broken Traditions. Keep in mind, I don't want to make any excuses. I don't know what the algorithm does, but it just feels like it's hard for certain people to get traction in the algorithm. So subbing is caring. I actually don't know how much subscribers even really matters, but at least get there so you can get notifications. It matters from that point if you're a subscriber and you get notifications and you comment and like, that's a big deal. So great. I'm gonna jump
Yeah.
over. I'm gonna have to go wrangle my kids, see what they're doing. They probably broke something, but I'm gonna go find out what they broke real quick and fix it with some super glue. And then I'll be listening to Broken Traditions. And then after that, I always listen to Timcast every day, like on a replay. And
Oh
then if
yeah,
I can, I haven't listened to my boy. I know we haven't had a chance to talk about him too much recently, but Nick Fuentes has been going live pretty much every day.
he
But I
has.
haven't had a
I didn't
chance
even
to
notice
listen.
it. Yeah,
Yeah, he's been under a lot of controversies right now.
of
So
course. Yeah, he's
yeah.
pretty controversial.
All right, Jay, appreciate you,
Yeah,
Mel.
man. Appreciate it, man. Thank you. Anytime.
Yep,
I'm here.
we out. Take
All
care.
right, bro.
Peace.